What's up, guys? Welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks. I'm your host, Caleb. If you want to support me, you can now follow me through Patreon. Not only is it the best way to support the channel, but additionally, you'll get more say in what decks I cover. Special shout out to my high contributing patrons. Newsome, you rock. Now, let's get into today's Deck Tech with Koma Cosmo Serpent. And you guys can thank Chicken Salad for this Deck Tech. He said, hey, I want to be the problem, and that's what we're going to be. This is going to be an incredibly oppressive deck. I didn't take it the traditional Koma clones route. This is going to be a Agatha Soul Cauldron deck. We're going to shove this deck full of some of the most oppressive activated abilities in Simic. So we're looking at stuff like Glenalendra Archmage. Now all of those serpents are going to be counter spells. We also have stuff like this lady right here, and we can just start taking control of our opponent's boards. Again, this is not going to be a very nice deck. You are probably going to be the target from the start of the game to the end of the game, but hey, that's kind of what you are when you play Koma anyway, so you can kind of expect that. If that sounds like a deck tech you want to get into, let's get into it. Let's kick it off with Agatha Soul Cauldron. This thing's incredibly busted, and it's going to be a key part of this deck. Glenalendra Archmage and Siren Stormtamer are going to be amazing in this deck, because not only are they solid counter magic, but additionally they shove themselves in the graveyard. That way we can exile them easily with Agatha Soul Cauldron. Walking Ballista also very easily shoves itself in the graveyard. Now all of our serpents can remove their counters to just start machine gunning down opponents or opponents' boards. That's going to be incredibly oppressive. Arcanus the Omnipotent will give every serpent the ability to just tap and draw 3 cards, so that's going to be extremely broken. Circle of Dreams Druid. Now all of our serpents are a Gaia's Cradle. Again, pretty busted. Thrasios is going to be an amazing outlet for all of that mana we're generating with the Circle of Dreams Druid. Beguiler of Wills. Again, we can just start tapping our massive board state of serpents to go ahead and take over all of our opponent's board states. Troyan's going to be solid. Not only does he ramp us into Koma pretty efficiently, additionally, the fact that we can turn all of our snakes into just looters is going to be very powerful. Cure's Follower, early game untaps our land, late game it's untapping Agatha Soul Cauldron, that way we can exile additional things. Unctus is some solid tech here because our serpents are blue, so now whenever we tap them for their activated ability or attack with them, we get a looting effect, which is pretty solid in this deck. Last but not least, we are on Seedborn Muse to enjoy all of these untapping and tapping shenanigans on everybody's turn. The one thing we have to do to make this strategy work is make sure our serpents are entering in with a 1/1 counter. So Renata, Arwen, Master Biomancer are going to be perfect for this. Even Loyal Guardian can make sure we get it done. Defiler of Vigor, also amazing because we are running a ton of elves. The fact that we can just pay 2 life to shove our elves into play is very powerful. Danny Pink puts counters on our serpents slowly, but honestly, the card draw this guy provides is insane in this deck. Fabricate and Inventor's Fair are also going to add some solid consistency to the deck. That way we have more ways to find Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Moving on, there's 8 ways to make sure we can double up on the serpents we're getting, which is insane. We have Roaming Throne, Parallel Lives, and Adrix and Nev. If that's not good enough for you, we are just going to straight up clone Koma. Surprise, surprise. We have Spark Double, Sakashima, the other Sakashima, Irenicus's Vile Duplication, Quantum Misalignment. A lot of people miss that this does just have Rebound Tack to it, so this will actually net you 2 Komas, which is insanely busted. Moving on, let's talk about that card draw. We have Guruk's Pack Leader, Elemental Bond, and Tribute to the World Tree. Now, these cards basically say whenever you create a serpent, draw a card, so these are going to be some insane card draw pieces in the deck. If we can't get the cards on ETB, we'll just use Toski Bearer of Secrets and Ornn Frostfang to get the cards whenever we're smashing face. Windfall is just a solid way to take our hand from nothing to full. Remember, we are running a lot of low to the ground elves, so it's very easy to throw our entire hand of mana dorks onto the battlefield and then have nothing to do afterwards. So Windfall is going to be perfect here. Guardian Project and Beast Whisperer, just a solid way to draw cards whenever we're casting those creature spells. Titan of Lijar is a new one that's pretty crazy. Not only does it draw you cards on ETB, but also whenever he attacks. Notably, this guy will also become a serpent, so now all of those one-sided board wipes will not hit him, so that's going to be amazing. AC Tyrant of Gyre, this one's just solid. Gives you some card advantage, you can play additional lands, and it can be a threat if we don't have Koma. Moving on to ramp, we have a lot of 1-drops because we want to ramp Koma out as fast as possible. Finthorn Elves, Arbor Elf, Leonwar Elves, Birds of Paradise, Elfish Mystic, Delighted Halfling, then we have Incubation Druid, Kami of Whispered Hopes, and Gwenna Eyes of Gia. Just a ton of mana dorks that are are going to come down early and get us into our commander. Rampant Growth, Farseek, 3 visits, Secure Tribe Elder, Nature's Lore. As you can see, the 2-drop slot is also stacked with ramp. Tireless Provisioner, Thran Dynamo, and Soul Ring are also going to make this cut. Thran Dynamo specifically because if we spend 4 mana to go into Thran Dynamo, next turn we can cast Koma, we can get rid of the 3 colorless, 2 green, 2 blue, boom, we've got our Serpent Boy. Moving on to interaction, we have Swan Song, an offer you can't refuse, Arcane Denial. We also have Beseiju Who Endures and Beast Within to get rid of the permanents. Bane of Progress can hose over those artifact and enchantment strategies. Whelming Wave, Slin Vada, and Cyclonic Rift are all one-sided board wipes that we are going to be running in this deck. All right, let's get into this playtest. We will go down. I don't think we keep... Well, actually, we've got card advantage. Unctus with Kior. Yeah, we're going to keep this. So we'll draw. We'll throw out this here. We'll go to our next turn. We'll throw out this. And then we will do the Kiora's Follower. Go to our next turn here. And we can 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Guardian Project. Just for some extra card advantage. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 5. We'll throw this guy out there, so now we can pay life. And we do get to draw a card off of that. Next turn, turn 5. I do believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we pay the life. 7. We got Koma. Cool. So turn 5 Koma, not terrible, can't be countered. Then we will go to our next turn. That is going to give us 4 serpents. So let's go get those. Add counter 3. Oh, 4. Okay, 1 has Summoning Sickness. We'll just remember that. And then all we have to do is pay 2 life. Throw this guy out there, and then they all have their counters. So boom, they're all 4/4s. They all have their counters. We can throw Walking Ballista in the graveyard. Tutor for our Agatha Soul Cauldron. Right there. And then cast it, and then instantly exile Walking Ballista. So now all of our Komas, or actually Koma 2, add counter. Now our whole board are basically Walking Ballistas. We just need to get them bigger, which we can definitely do. Ooh, I forgot to draw a card off of Guardian Project, so I'll do that right now. Arcane Denial open. Okay, and then we do have 2 mana open. Does that help me? Because that's 1, 2, 3 mana. We could do Unctus. We can't do Unctus. We don't have the... Okay, we'll just Vile Duplication next turn. We probably should have duplicationed this turn, but that's going to be okay. We'll go to our next turn, and then we will go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4 fire off that Vile Duplication. We get 2 Komas. Seems pretty busted to me. Boom, 2 Komas. And then let's go over here. These are all 4/4s, and then we'll make a clone. Where is it? Make token copy. Set counter. Okay, and then we have 4 of these ones, which are 3/3s. First of all, just on power alone, 4 times 4, we have 12 here, and then 3 that can attack, so 9. So that's over 20 damage there, plus 6, so that's 26. Then we have our Defiler, which is also just going to get bigger here, because we can 1, 2, untap 1, tap it again, pay 2 life for Renata. So now these are going to go up, these are going to go up, Defiler is going to go up. Defiler should be 8, actually. This guy's going to go up, and this guy's going to go up. And then, so we can attack 1 player. So now we have 20 power in tokens alone. And then we can remove 2 counters from each of them and deal an additional 8 damage. So we almost have 30 power in our tokens alone with the Ballista exiled. So that's kind of busted. And then, oh, we do have this guy sitting, chilling up there. But we could one, two. I don't think I'm cheating here, or did I already tap Cure's follower? I don't know. Regardless, I didn't draw. Okay, we got another land, so that's fine. And then we will play Tireless Provisioner, so everything will get another counter. 9, 6. Oops, sorry. And then 4. So now we have. I should have done this a little differently, but 2 counters here on these 4. So that's 8 damage. Then we have 3 counters over here on these 4. So that's going to be 6, 12 damage. Yeah, it's getting really close to lethal right now with just combat damage, and then additionally the walking ballista. Not to mention, we do have abilities here, and we can tap down our opponent's creatures. So one more turn, we can do that if you want, but one more turn, we're gonna get like double the serpent. So instead of 4, we're gonna get 8, and those 8 will enter with Renata's. Oh, sorry, Renata's power went up. Each enters the battlefield with it. Oh no, just additional counter. Yeah, so those will all enter with a counter, so we'll get an additional 8 damage there. On top of the additional 8 bodies, only 6 of them will be able to attack. But again, that's going to be more than enough for lethal. So yeah, that's kind of where the deck is. Especially if we played Unctus, we draw a card and then we can draw discard for each that attack. So we would draw probably into some broken activated abilities. Let's see what we get here. First of all, Kimi would be good. So we would discard Kimi, and then now we can exile Kimi with Kami. Yeah, Kami. Sorry, exile Kami, and now all of our serpents tap for their power. So that's also broken. And then we got another Sakashima here. We would have to discard, but we'd obviously discard the cards that are not good. But this is why Unctus is just so good. It just says whenever they attack, draw a card, discard a card, and then you tap them for mana. They do stuff. But yeah, we got some good cards here. That's definitely going to be lethal for our opponents. If not, we'd have a third Koma that turn. And yeah, the deck just kind of feels busted. We do have the Siren Storm Tamer also, which would help us against single target exile effects. So the only thing that could stop us there was a mass board wipe like Farewell, or the other one that's Orzhov. Anyway, yeah, the deck's good. Busted, does Koma things. Not super surprised. Koma's just really oppressive. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. I would like to thank my patrons, Newsome, Chicken Salad, Excessum. You guys are amazing. You keep the channel going. If you want to become a part of the Patreon, we vote weekly on a deck tech, and then I build it. So if you want to become a part of that, becoming a patron is a solid way to do that. With that being said, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one. I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors.